This is a Christmas story, but it doesn't start where you might expect. There are no big waves or palm trees at the North Pole. This is my hometown, Sunshine Beach, California. The sun shines here 335 days a year, and it never snows. This is my house. A year ago, on Christmas morning, I was 10 years old. That's me, Bob. And that's my dad. He's a police detective. A real hero who catches bad guys and gets awards from the mayor. I made a huge Christmas list, but there was one present I wanted more than anything. I was hoping Santa would come through for me. On Christmas morning, Dad said Santa had been very good to me. He asked if I was sure I had opened everything. He pointed to one last box left under the tree. I told him it was empty, but he insisted I check. Suddenly, a puppy jumped out. His name was Chili. He was immediately running wild all over the house. He was a destroyer puppy, the best present in the world. Dad said he was a Korean Sapsuli, one of the most expensive breeds. My dad was my best friend, but now I had another one. Fast forward almost a year later, and Chili was still a handful. Dad made a rule: Chili's food had to stay outside because he was so messy. Dad was always looking out for me, even suggesting I should find a girlfriend. I was excited for winter break, hoping this Christmas would be the best ever. But Chili had other plans, like destroying the Christmas decorations. We probably should have just named him Destroyer Dog. Before the adventure begins, you need to meet my best friend, K-Pups. He was wearing a ridiculous hat that day. And this is Casey. She told K-Pups his hat was a bully magnet. She was right. It attracted the Morone brothers, our local bullies. Casey actually called me by my name, which was a big deal. K-Pups thought I had a crush on her, and warned me she was dangerous. Meanwhile, at the police station, Dad's boss, Lieutenant Stone, had a surprise. He was offered a huge promotion, Chief Special Agent for the FBI. The only problem? The job was in New York City. His boss wouldn't take no for an answer, even threatening to fire him. Dad was worried. He had me and Chili to think about. He was torn. Our family had lived in that house for 3 generations. After accepting the job, he was given one last case: catching a dog thief. He also met his replacement, the very eager Detective Jasper. We soon meet the villains, a group of dog thieves led by a man named Quarterman. They were planning to make a big score by Christmas. On the bus home, our winter break was interrupted by the Morone brothers. Just as they were about to attack us, Casey stepped in to defend us. But the real hero was Chili, who had snuck onto the bus. He growled and barked, and the bullies ran away terrified. Casey was impressed. She told me I had a pretty cool dog. Later, my dad came home. He said we needed to have a serious talk. He told me about his new job with the FBI, and that we were moving to New York. I was excited at first. We were going to be a family of feds. But then came the bad news. We'd be living in a small apartment. An apartment with no yard for a big, energetic dog like Chili. He told me we couldn't take Chili with us. We had to find him a new home. I was heartbroken. My best friend couldn't come with us. I told my friends the terrible news. My dad was trying to find Chili a new family. K-Pups told us a story about a Christmas miracle that happened in town long ago. That gave me an idea. We needed our own Christmas miracle. The plan was simple: if we couldn't find someone to adopt Chili, we would make sure no one would want to adopt him. We called it Operation Christmas Miracle. Dad had to work, so he left me in charge of showing Chili to potential adopters. Casey thought my plan to dress Chili up was ridiculous. But I was in charge, and we had to make sure no one would want him. Our first potential adopter was a woman who was clearly not a dog person. Chili's antics, helped by K-Pups, quickly scared her away. Then, a strange man showed up. It was Quarterman, the dog thief, in disguise. He introduced himself as Jasper and pretended to be the perfect owner. He was very interested when he heard my dad was joining the FBI. I noticed he was acting suspiciously, getting his daughter's names mixed up. Quarterman reported back that the dog belonged to a police officer. This made Chili a high-priority target for the thieves. I told my dad that none of the adopters were a good fit for Chili. Later, Dad tried to cook dinner, but he was terrible at it. Just then, his partner, Lieutenant Stone, showed up. She was a great cook and quickly took over the kitchen. She told us she and my mom used to be partners on the police force. She absolutely adored Chili, and he seemed to love her too. My dad saw how happy they were and asked her to adopt Chili. she happily agreed. My plan had backfired completely. Now Chili had a new home, and it wasn't with me. But then, I had another idea. What if Chili learned how to behave perfectly inside the house? Then my dad would have no reason to leave him behind. But to train a dog, we needed a tough, fearless trainer. We knew only one person who fit that description, Casey. We presented our new plan, Operation Christmas Miracle, Phase 2. Our mission was to transform Chili into the perfect indoor dog by Christmas. First, since we wouldn't have a yard, Chili needed to learn to exercise indoors. K-Pup set up a treadmill, but Chili wasn't having it. Casey had a more direct approach to get him moving. Next, Chili had to learn to feed himself without making a mess. K-Pups invented an automatic feeder for him. But it ended up flooding the kitchen with water. The next lesson was the most dangerous, potty training. We tried to teach him to use the toilet, but it didn't go well. Finally, he had to learn to navigate the house without breaking anything. We set up an obstacle course, but he just crashed through everything. Our training was a disaster. I felt like we were doomed. Casey realized the problem: we weren't making it fun for him. She said if we turned the lessons into games, he would learn. We turned the treadmill into a game of chase, and he loved it. He learned to use the obstacle course with perfect grace. He even mastered the automatic feeder. And the toilet. By making it all a game, we had finally succeeded. But we weren't the only ones watching. The Morone brothers were spying on us. They saw us training Chili and heard our plan to keep him. They found one of K-Pup's gadgets, a high-frequency dog whistle. They realized the sound, which we couldn't hear, drove Chili crazy. They had found a way to ruin our Christmas wish. On Christmas Eve, everyone gathered for dinner. After dinner, I was ready to show them the new, house-trained Chili. The final demonstration was for Chili to run through the living room. At full speed, without breaking a single thing. But outside, the Morone brothers were waiting with the dog whistle. The high-pitched sound made him go completely wild. He crashed through everything, destroying the living room and the Christmas tree. My demonstration was a disaster. My dad was convinced Chili could never be an indoor dog. The dog thieves were getting their final orders from Quarterman. He wanted them to steal Chili that night, while the detective was out. My dad got an anonymous tip about the thieves being across town. It was a setup to get him out of the house. He told me to lock the door and left. Just as my dad left, the real thieves arrived. Suddenly, I heard them breaking in. I had to think fast. I used K-Pup's gadgets to set up a series of traps. The thieves walked right into my first trap, a net hidden in the Christmas tree. Meanwhile, my dad realized the tip was a fake, leading him to an empty warehouse. He figured out the call came from near our house and raced back. Chili and I used our training to outsmart the thieves. We used the obstacle course to trip them up. Then Chili activated the automatic feeder, burying one of them in dog food. We managed to trap the two clumsy thieves, but then Quarterman appeared. He cornered me in the bathroom, and I was terrified. He told me to give up, that I was just a scared little boy. But then I remembered what my dad said: even heroes get scared. The difference is that heroes keep going. I stood up to him and told him to stay away from my friend. Just as he lunged for Chili, my dad and the police burst in. My dad was so proud of me. He said I was brave. He said there was another hero in the house now. With the bad guys caught, our Christmas miracle was complete. And then, a second miracle happened. It started to snow in Sunshine Beach. On Christmas morning, my dad had one last surprise for me. He tore up a letter, revealing he wasn't quitting his job here. He told the FBI he needed more time to think. We weren't moving. We were staying home, together, with my best friend, Chili. It was a very Merry Christmas for everyone. My dad is the greatest hero I know. But that day, he told me I was a hero, too. If you want a recap of your favorite movies and shows, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next ones. See you next time, everyone.